Rummy show tonight. Crummy show tonight. The Godfather Soldier Slimy. Name my topic tonight. Name my topic tonight is called hold on, let's see. Name my topic tonight is called Stupid and Slimy in San Diego. That's my topic tonight. Before I do, I'm gonna open up a little bit of music. Name of the song I'm singing, I'm gonna play for all of you is called "Give Me the Reason," sung by the late Luther Vandross. The reason why I'm playing that for all of you because today is the 21st anniversary of the passing of this legendary R&B legend. I'm gonna mention in my history of birthdays. So stick around, right back, and get it playing. By the way, it's from the Ruthless People movie soundtrack. Stars Bette Midler, Danny DeVito, Judge Reinhold, and Helen Slater. So stick around, right back, and we'll get it playing for all of you. Alzheimer's diagnosis. Give Me the Reason by the late Luther Vandross from the Ruthless People movie soundtrack. All we just heard. Um, reason why I played it. Is today is the 21st anniversary. Mistakenly said 11th, but yeah, 21st anniversary of the death of this R&B legend. I'm gonna mention the history and birthdays. Let's get down to business with tonight's show. Commentary welcomes us to the show before throwing it to an interview that took place after Forbidden Door. Nate Paquette tries to get some words from 2026 Owen Hart Tournament winner Will Ospreay, but he is interrupted by Jon Moxley. Ospreay asks about the Continental Championship, what he meant a few weeks back, and Moxley offers him some advice. And a Death Riders patch saying Ospreay can ride with him if he chooses. Mox walks off and we see Ospreay is now staring at Kenny Omega, who raises concerns about what Will has been doing, even if now the Owen Hart Tournament winner. Ospreay is happy to see Omega in this moment, but Kenny isn't his dad in this situation. This is interrupted by the arrival of Moron Jackass Freeman, who runs down Omega and Ospreay before telling Will he will see him at Wembley, bro. With that, we head back to ringside for our opening match for the AEW World Championship. Out first is Mark Briscoe as we get a look back at Death's Door Steel Cage match at Forbidden Door, followed by Moron Jackass Freeman. We get introductions for the challenger and the champion before we get this match underway. AEW World Championship match, Moron Jackass Freeman defends against Mark Briscoe. Let's Go Briscoe chant is with a scared chant for the champ, will get sent to the ropes by Briscoe for a spine buster. He stomps away at Moron Jackass Freeman in the corner, bringing him up to send him across the ring. Moron Jackass Freeman backs off and catches the challenger with a stuffed pile driver, but only gets a 2 count. He rips off the bandage from Mark's head, taking a bite to reopen the wood before the ref pulls him away. He pokes fun in the crowd before digging into Briscoe's forehead with his knuckle, sending the challenger to the corner with such impact that Mark crashes down to the mat. Moron Jackass Freeman continues the attack, but an attack body drop leaves Mark landing on his feet, catching the champ by surprise with a flurry of offense. He sends Moron Jackass Freeman to the corner before landing a belly-to-belly suplex that charges at the champ from a running lariat. With Moron Jackass Freeman down, Briscoe heads to the top turnbuckle, but it's apparently a ruse as Moron Jackass Freeman hangs him up on his tight little chickens on the top rope. The champ starts to mount a comeback until Briscoe sends him over the top rope to the outside and grabs a chair, setting up for a running dive over the top rope, sending Moron Jackass Freeman crashing back to the floor. Briscoe pulls a table from under the ring, slamming the champ into the ring steps to keep him worn down, before sending him up on the table. He climbs to the turnbuckle, but Moron Jackass Freeman pops up to intercepts him before sending him crashing to the apron. Max is so disinterested in dealing with the table that he folds it back up, sliding it back under the ring before getting it back in the ring. We see Briscoe starting to recover as Moron Jackass Freeman poses, mocking the fans before we go to an ad break. Both men are back in the ring now, with Briscoe knocking the champ back with some punches before sending him back to the outside once more. Mark pulls the padding off the floor looking for a J driller, but Freeman fights out of it, setting up for a tombstone instead. It's a no-go as the challenger counters out, dropping him by a slam before hopping into the apron for a Cactus Jack style elbow drop. He brings the champ back into the ring, landing a cutthroat driver for the cover and a close near fall. Moron Jackass Freeman rolls to the apron but is caught by Briscoe as he looks for a Dre Driller. Warren Jacobs Freeman fights it off, only to take a headbutt, sending him to the floor. Mark continues to lay in the champ, sending Warren Jacobs Freeman into the barricade before pulling the table back in front underneath the rest counts. Count begins. Warren Jacobs Freeman sets up on a chair for a breather before sending the challenger face first into it with a drop toe hold. He backs off for a little bit, charging Briscoe only to be dropped down hard with a lariat. Mark gets onto the barricade, rushing toward the champ for a neck breaker to the floor. He then sets Warren Jacobs Freeman up on the table, finally connects with a froggy bow from the top that drives the champ through the table. He brings back Max into the ring, looking for a J Driller, but Warren Jacobs Freeman breaks free. Jab to the eye by Freeman. He gets caught in the ropes by Briscoe. Knee strike and elbow combination from the champ, only for Briscoe to fire back with a kick with a lariat off the ropes that sends both men to the mat. Briscoe gets back up, climbing the turnbuckle for a froggy bow. Not finished, however, Briscoe sets it for the J drill and it connects. Mark with a cover and the champ kicks out, finally breaking the curse. It comes off when it comes to that move. Briscoe tries to shake it off any doubt as he pulls Warren Jacobs Freeman to the corner, but the champ drops out of intent and avalanche J driller. Briscoe tries to go for another one on the mat, but gets countered with a water wheel drop by the champ, who falls with a Heart Seeker for the win. We're going to be a pinfall and still AEW World Champion Warren Jacobs Freeman. Warren Jacobs Freeman doesn't take to celebrate with his win and pulls out of his Dynamite diamond ring to land a hard punch on the man he just defeated. Officials come rushing out to stop the champ from doing anything further, but he knocks them away before looking to do it again, only for Kenny Omega to come rushing in down for the save. Warren Jacobs Freeman escapes the ring from the ramp as Omega grabs the microphone, running Freeman down, looking down for having to use some table chairs to the ring to get what he wants. Looking to challenge for the AEW World Title tonight. The champ gets the microphone of his own, running down that he had to compete in dumpster fire like California against Briscoe, telling Omega the answer is no, just as quickly as he gets the big idea. He offers the match to Omega for the next one, on one condition: if Omega loses, the same thing happens to Kenny that happened to his buddy Hangman Page, and he can never challenge for the world title ever again. Warren Jacobs Freeman gives Omega some time to think it over, following his remarks like that if Omega refuses, he still won't get another title shot, as we go to commercial break. Then we go to commercial break. Backstage, Warren Jacobs Freeman talks about how easy it will be to beat Kenny Omega, reminding folks of all the people he's beaten before, including Omega, himself twice. He also mocks Ospreay in the process before claiming Kenny Omega won't even agree to his terms because he is the gutless. Speaking of Ospreay, Will shows up to make fun of the champ before asking Warren Jacobs Freeman why he's adding such a stipulation. Warren Jacobs Freeman says it's because he's the champ, and no matter what, he looks to take down Ospreay at Wembley Stadium. He walks off as Dynamite rolls on. Back at ringside, Tony Schiavone welcomes Andrade Aldiar as we hear about his decision to split from the Don Callis family for Forbidden Door. He says he's tired of being with the group and he's looking for a shot at the world title. So he has one question: how do you know? You get a curious answer to this as the Don Callis family blindsides him. They bring Andrade to the ring to continue the beatdown, with Brian Keys dropping him down hard. Drill Claw sends El Diablo down to the mat with authority. And we'll see Don has a microphone. The crowd boos big style as Don Callis tries to get his words out. He mocks Andrade by asking him how he knows before telling his cronies to get him out of here as Knight. Every Knight has a match of his own match to win. That match, which sees Knight defending against Ring of Honor World Television Champion Blackheart Leo Rush, is coming up next. Then we go to commercial break. You get a visionette from Mercedes Moné as she addresses winning the Owen Hart tournament a second time, saying dreams don't win championships, but she does. The AEW Women's World Title is the only thing missing from her collection, and she looks to correct that in All In. Now we wish someone would get that title off from her. But they won't. She just wants to have everything handed to her on a silver platter. Mercedes. Back at ringside, Kevin Knight waits the arrival of his challenger as Blackheart Leo Rush hits the ring with a backpack, possibly a gift from the conglomeration for the Forbidden Door, as we get this match underway. AEW TNT Championship, Jet Kevin Knight defends against Blackheart Leo Rush. Knight is hard terrified about what is in the bag after one blew up on him on Sunday, but he opens it. He unreveals Rush's Ring of Honor World TV Champion, which he had painted black. The distraction allows Rush to get a few shots in on the champ, before Jake Doyle helps him out with a breather. Knight talks to Callis for some advice before Rush comes in, rushing through the ropes for a dive that sends him to the floor. Callis goes to check on his champ, but is scared off by the Blackheart as we go to an ad break. We go to an ad break. HBO Max. Both men are back in the ring as Knight starts to gain control, taking the challenger to the mat for a near fall. Rush is back up, sending the champ to the ropes for arm drag. Kevin tries to fight back, but is knocked to the canvas, allowing Leo to cover for a 2 count and transitions to a neck bridge headlock. Kevin Knight struggles to break free with a ref not catching it. Doyle pulls the champ's leg to the ropes to force a break. Knight slides out of the ring, Leo chasing after him for Knight intercepts him back in the ring. Taking the challenger down hard with a crash landing for the win. Winner via pinfall, still TNT champion, AEW TNT champion Jet Kevin Knight. The champ doesn't have time to celebrate as Darby Allin's music hits, and hits the former AEW World Champion. Comes out to the ramp with a microphone. He calls Kevin Knight out for a title shot at the AEW TNT Championship, saying that if Kevin Knight refuses, then what happened at Forbidden Door will keep on happening. Kevin says he's tired of dealing with Allen, so the answer is Don pulls the mic away from him, laying the situation out to Darby. He addresses what Darby did at Forbidden Door, saying he's crossed the line from wrestler to criminal. Darby says criminal. The Don Callis family does not deal with criminal behavior, so Darby will never get a shot as Kevin Knight. As far as he's concerned, Darby responds by telling Knight he dug his grave, walking away as Callis talks about respecting his family. We take a look at Jericho having Siobhan tell everyone he's better than Ciampa before we head backstage, where Tommaso addresses the situation, only to take a hot bend to the face, by Jericho. The two go to the outside where Jericho gets slammed down to the ground before Ciampa grabs the drill. Jericho stops that attack, but Tommaso continues to beam him down without before security intervenes. This allows Jericho to get to the drop on him with a crossbody from the production truck before security breaks things up. Commentary hypes up their match next week at Beach Break, as well as Survivor of the Fierce later tonight for a TBS championship. We also hear from Jay White that later tonight. But up next is Jon Moxley. Will Ospreay will face in the Swirl. We're going to go to commercial break. Backstage, Renee tries to get a word from Kenny Omega about more on Jack's Female stipulation. The Young Bucks addresses the two other Elite Brethren, falling to that stipulation before Kenny admits that he hasn't made a decision yet. The trio discussing the situation, and Omega says that he's going through with this. He's got to go it alone. He's got some thinking to do as Dynamite rolls on. We head to ringside where the Swirl have already made their entrance. Will Ospreay coming out to a big pop from the crowd while taking the look back at home at Ospreay winning the Owen Hart Foundation tournament and Forbidden Door. Rounding out the competitors is Jon Moxley as we look back at him retaining the Continental Championship with all four men ready to go with this match underway. With the Swirl sneak attacking their opponents. Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay versus the Swirl, Blake Christian, John Lee Johnson. Mox looks like he's still worn down from Sunday as Christian and Johnson beat him down into the corner. They continue this as the ref tries to regain order. In the chaos, Mox fights back, sending Lee into Blake. But then they turn around to take Mox down hard. Mox tries to tag Ospreay as Blake is officially starting this off for his team. For Lee gets sent to the floor as does Blake. And Ospreay leaps over the top rope onto both of the Swirl. He brings Christian back into the ring, bringing him down with a blood body slam and a tag to Mox as we go to an ad break. Back in the ring, Swirl are still in control of the situation until Mox catches them with a double clothesline. Christian rolls to the apron as Mox continues the attack on Johnson, only for Lee to fight back for a tag to Blake. They double team Mox to send them to the ropes where Jay Lethal sneakily pulls Mox to the mat from the outside. The ref is stunned by what happened. Maria Shafir gets some vengeance with an exploder suplex sending Lethal to the floor. Mox manages to fight back for a tag to Ospreay as Lee tags in only to be slammed by Ospreay to the mat. Lee sends Lee to the corner as Mox comes in for an assist. Blake tries to catch Mox from the springboard, but Ospreay intercepts for a cutter. Mox lands on a Peregrine shift on Johnson, followed quickly by a hidden blade from Ospreay for the win. Winners via pinfall: Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay. Ospreay celebrates in the ring as Mox and Sharif exit from the crowd. We go to an interview from Cage and Cope after Forbidden Door, where Christian addresses the pair winning to regain their titles over the Dogs. He wants to know what Jay White was doing out there, and Cope says the Switchblade owed him a favor. Now they're even. Cage recounts his issues with Jay White before walking off and Dynamite rolls on. Back at ringside, Jay White is accompanied by the Big Bang Gang to the ring. Jay gets the microphone to address that it's been 459 days since he's had a good chance to talk to the peoples, saying hello to the San Diego Gold members. He addresses the fact that the crowd aren't worried as Death Riders as they were when they were here last, and they won't spend much time tonight addressing the biggest fraud of them all, referring to Will Ospreay. Jay turns his attention to Dogs, making a "who let the dogs out" joke before addressing his history with David Finlay in particular. He talks about how good Finlay is as someone born into this business, but of all people, all of that doesn't change the fact that David Finlay is a nympho baby, bitch boy. This gets a nympho baby chant, but Jay tells him to wait until he's out here for that. He talks about Finlay's arrogance stinking up the place, with Jay offering to give us some fresh air. He tells Finlay that Sunday was just the beginning, and this is the Switchblade era. And if you're not down with that, we got two words for you: guns up. Yo, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. I don't know that. With that, we head to backstage where the STP calls the Big Bang Gang for an 8-man tag match at Collision before Dynamite rolls on once more. Back at ringside, it's time for our main event. It's time for the Survival of the Fittest. Each competitors make their entrance with commentary taking up how they qualify for the AEW TBS Championship match before we get things underway. Survival of the Fittest for the AEW TBS Championship. Maka versus Harley Cameron versus Hikaru Shida versus Persephone versus Chris Statlander versus Queen Naminata. The ring very quickly clears out aside from Mecca First Phony for a shining wizard from Harley sends Mecca out to the outside. First Phony and Cameron work to take on Shida and Naminata respectively, with Harley beating up on the Queen in the corner before First Phony pulls her away with Crucifix bombs to score the elimination. Harley Cameron's been eliminated. Chris Stanley returns to the ring, but not happy to see their friend beaten down like that as she squares off with First Phony before we go to an ad break. Ad break, back in the ring, Mika and Stanley work together to take First Phony down before trading strikes on each other. Chris is sent to the ropes where she takes a candlestick back by Shida. She slides into the ring to go after Mika, but he is taken to the mat by a starting competitor. She goes for a bicep, but she counters to go for an ankle lock. Mika gets to the ropes, forced to break as Statlander gets back to her feet, only be dragged back out of the ring by First Phony. Back in the ring, she uses the first ref as a shield before riding Mika up for elimination. Mika has been eliminated. Queen Naminata returns to the ring, going after Shida with a flurry of offense before taking her down taking her to the mat for a near fall. Shida starts to fight back, but Queen takes her out off with her head, only to be caught by First Phony for a quick pin and elimination. Queen Naminata has been eliminated. We're done with 3 women in this match as Shida stares First Phony down from behind before we go to an ad break. Back from break, Statlander takes First Phony to the mat with a powerbomb. It's only good for a 2 count. First Phony responds with a German suplex, bringing for a pin. But we're only getting a near fall. She sees a knob opening as she covers First Phony, but while she's still down, we're a near fall, leading her to cover Chris for a single result. Shida First Phony decide to work together as Statlander, who takes Shida out of the ring for dropping First Phony with it for a 2 count. First Phony fights back before Statlander looks for a night special, but First Phony counters no. Stat counters back for a pin and gets the elimination. First Phony has been eliminated. Crowd not giving vibe with that calls, they boo the call elimination of the CMLL while Shida gets in the ring to go after her old friend and rival in the Statlander. 2 go back and forth, leading an exchange of near falls, but before Shida goes for an ankle lock, Kurt Angle's move. Stat gets to the ropes to try to find a way out, but gets blindsided from the outside by First Phony with the AEW TBS title. This allows Shida to lock in what I think is a full male stretch muffler. And Statlander is out cold as ref calls for the bell. Winner via submission and new AEW TBS champion, Hikaru Shida. Shida celebrates her win as First Phony can be heard telling the new champ she owes her, as we cut backstage where Kenny Omega is still having hard to think about his decision, which we hear about next. Commercial break. Commentary runs down the line for Collision tomorrow night as well as next week's Dynamite Beach break. Before we head to ringside, Kenny Omega hits as we cut backstage to see him on his way to the stage, only to be cut off by Will Ospreay, who asks him if he's sure about taking his match on the stipulation. Kenny not liking that Will Ospreay seems to not think he can do it. He says that much like Ospreay, he goes after his broke neck. Kenny, what Kenny is standing now is his death ground, and he knows he needs to know what Ospreay he has Ospreay support. Will says he always does. Kenny makes his way out to the ring. The crowd chants Kenny's name as he gets a microphone talking about what he's done to give these people everything he has. No matter how broken down he is, these people always show their appreciation. He talks about all the things he's done that he can look back fondly. But there is but there's this part of him that thinks there's something to give. Will Ospreay can't believe, but if the Young Bucks can believe, these two can believe that it can happen one more time to wish the crowd chants one more time, then Kenny can believe he can be a champion, representing AEW, the best wrestler, and to go on to face Will Ospreay at All In 2026 at Wembley Stadium. And all he has to do is just put it on the line. If Kenny loses, Omega loses, he'll become just another fall like Cody and Hangman before him. With all that in mind, the answer is no. Kenny insists that he's good as people say he is, that he is the cleaner, best bout machine, what some would call the god of professional wrestling. With that, the thought of being more extreme gets the blood pumping. So the answer is yes. Bring the BBB and be ready to pass on what belongs to Kenny belongs to Omega. And he is not sure if More Jack Extreme is ready. But for now, we bid you adieu. Good night. Mwah. And goodbye. Bang. Omega starts to drop the mic, but he gets dropped from behind by More Jack Extreme. Champ pulls his diamond ring, but gets taken to the mat by Omega, who lands on a few shots before security comes out to break up the fight. They hold each other man back out in the opposite corners before Omega leaps past them and charges at the champ. And Omega and More Jack Extreme responds in kind, shouting at his challenger for next week before security pulls him away. More Jack Extreme escapes the ring, heading the ramp up to grab his titles. Kenny's music hits. More Jack Extreme comes down the ramp to remind Kenny what's at stake as Dynamite comes to a close. Crummy show tonight. Crummy show. I mean, Sasha Banks. Mercedes Moné. Her ego. Just Warren Jaggers Freeman ego. Just terrible show tonight. Okay, now it's time for my wrestling history and birthday. Let's go to yesterday, June the 30th. Okay, yesterday would have been happy. '82nd birthday to one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, Terry Funk. Yesterday was a happy 60th birthday to the champ himself, baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, boxing legend. WWE Hall, being in the WWE Hall of Fame. Is he in the WWE Hall of Fame, Mike Tyson? Yeah, he is in WWE Hall of Fame. Yeah, he helped Stone Cold Steve Austin. He had got flipped out by Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he got he was a main event, and he was the celebrity referee at WrestleMania 14, and Stone Cold Steve for Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels for the WWE title. Alicia Fox turned 40 yesterday. Yoshitatsu turned 49 yesterday. And Sue Young turned 37 yesterday, I believe. Yeah. Will Ferraro turned 35 yesterday. Let's see what else. See yesterday, June the 30th. Let's see, June the 30th. On WWF, Primetime Wrestling. It'll show highlights from Madison Square Garden, March 16th, 1986. Pedro Morales defeated Bob Rowan Jr. by via disqualification after Orton hits a suplex from the apron so that Morales landed first cross top rope. Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov with Freddie Blaster defeated Corporate Cushion and Dan Spivey with 941 when Sheik pinned Corporate Cushion with a boot to the sternum. Yeah, this was Primetime Wrestling. This was hosted by Real Monsoon, Bobby Brain Heenan. It was from Madison Square Garden, February 17, 1986. Hercules with Freddie Blassie pinned George Wells at 4:11 after Wells missed a shoulder block in the corner. It's from March 16, 1986. House show, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Jim Brunzell pinned Bret the Hitman Hart at 13:55 with backslide for the bout. Hart attacked Brunzell, threw him over the floor. On December 30th, 1985, Madison Square Garden, New York City. King Kong Buddy with Bobby Brain Heenan pinned Hillbilly Jim at 6:03 with a splash followed by Avalanche. March 16, 1960, Madison Square Garden. Sifi Afi defeated Ron Shaw at 6:52 with a fine broad press. Afi was billed as Superfly Afi for the bout. This was January 27, 1960, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Paul Orndorff defeated Big John Studd with Bobby Graham via the squash race in 5:13 when Heenan interfered and Orndorff attempted to body slam Studd. After that, Orndorff cleared the ring from the ring. This was January 1st, January 27, 1960, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Let's see what else. See, the WWF Action Zone, June 30th, 1996. Just highlights and everything. No WCW main event at night. See, WWE Heat, June 30th, 2006. Mike Striker defeated Gene Snitsky. Sean Bench defeated Brad Allen. Eugene defeated Rob Conway. See the SmackDown. Yeah, this took place June 30th, 2006 at the Roanoke Center in Roanoke, Virginia. Friday Night SmackDown. We see Mark Henry making some disgusting comments about Eddie's Guerrero family to Chavo's face. Gregory Helms Cruiserweight Champion versus Super Crazy ended in a no contest Cruiserweight Championship match. Pit Bulls, Jamie Noble and Kid Cash defeated Mac, Malik Yama, and Mari Garner jobber wrestlers. Fit Finley defeated Matt Hardy. Mr. Kennedy defeated Gunnar Scott. Vito defeated Simon Dean. Bobby Lashley defeated United States Champion. Defeated King Booker and Queen Sharmell. Steel Cage was trying to obtain the U.S. Cruiserweight Championship. Here we see a little promo from Animal Batista, and we see highlights of the next Divas contest. See what else? Let's say pop culture and movies released in theaters. June 30th. Yeah, who could forget that movie Strangers with Candies? That was released June 28th. Yeah, for what I mentioned on my I forgot to mention my history and birthdays for Monday, for June 28th. But the movie that started it all, 30th anniversary, the movie that started it all, Devil Wears Prada, was released in theaters, starring Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci. And there was a sequel to just released earlier this year. Yeah, 30th anniversary of Devil Wears Prada. I mean 20th anniversary. Yeah, and 10 years later, and 30 years later, there'll be a sequel, which is released around May 1st, 2026. Yep. Really good movie, The Devil Wears Prada. Let's see. 2006, June 3rd, 2016. Miami Airlines Arena's Friday Night SmackDown. Miami, Florida. Thursday Night SmackDown, Cesaro defeated Alberto Del Rio, Sheamus, and Paul Cruz in fatal 4-way match to be number one contender for the U.S. title. Rusev Wallon defeated Cesaro by submission, retained the U.S. title. Dana Brooke defeated Billy Kay. Wyatt family, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. Bray Wyatt defeated Aaron and held Milwaukee Duwati. Sasha Banks defeated Summer Rae by submission. Dean Rose defeated The Miz and Maurice. Okay, June the 1st today. Let's go June 1st right now. Okay. Pamela Anderson turns 59. She was attending at WrestleMania 11 in 1995. And Carmella Desire, former WWE valet, she turns 44 today. CC Spinelli turns 41 today. 41 today. Terry Frazier turns 40 today. And today is a happy 70th birthday to actor Alan Ruck, aka Cameron Fry from 1986's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You know, a friend of mine from Pittsburgh remembers the movie. Matthew Broderick, Mia Sarah. And today is the 21st anniversary of the death of one of my favorite musicians, R&B legend Luther Vandross. So all you heard me play a song, "Give Me the Reason" by him from the Ruthless People movie soundtrack. Movie soundtrack that stars Danny DeVito, Bette Midler, Judge Reinhold, and Helen Slater. All you heard me play that song. Died June 1st, 2005. And let's see, what else? On Monday Night Wars. WWE World Champion Shawn Michaels with Jose Lefebvre defeated Marty Jannetty. With Lee Cassidy and Jim Cornette. Mankind defeated Duke Jones Joseph via submission. Goldust with Marleno defeated Mark Merrow. Wyman Mark Merrow with Sable. And Stone Cold Steve Austin through his commentary with Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler. It was Brown County Expo, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Then on WCW Nitro. Yeah, this was the night before Bash at the Beach '96, the Hostile Takeover at the U.S. Air Arena in Landover, Maryland. This edition of Nitro is the first mention of the New World Order in reference to Kevin Nash and Scott Hall by Larry Zbyszko. Harlem Heat and Booker T and Stevie Ray defeated Steiner brothers, Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner, to retain the WCW World Tag Team Championship, and Disco Inferno defeated Carousel, and Diamond Out DDP defeated Sky Riggs. Randy Savage defeated Greg the Hammer. Macho Man Randy Savage defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine. The Giant with Jimmy Hart defeated John Tenta to retain the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Chris Benoit, and Steve Mongo, Deborah Michael, Elizabeth, and Woman defeated Joe Gilman, the Renegade, Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, 8-man tag team match. And we saw it, Eric Bischoff did commentary, made his return, do commentary after being injured by the hands of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash at the Great American Bash. And this was one of his memorable comments on his return to Great American Bash. This is what he said. Let me find that audio piece right quick for all of you. I know a friend of mine in Pittsburgh remembers this, what he said, Eric Bischoff. His return to commentary. Let me find it right quick. Here it is.
Welcome back, Eric Bischoff, hour number 2. All right, thank you, Tony Schiavone and wow, Zbyszko. I am Eric Bischoff. This is WC.
Hold on a second. A little technical issue right there.
And we'll be back with a lot of action, a lot of excitement right after this timeout. What a win for Randy Savage. All right, welcome back, everybody, and we're coming to you live here on WCW Nitro on TNT. Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, glad to be back with you. And right off the bat, I want to take this opportunity to attend to some personal business. First of all, I am glad to be back, and I want to thank all the people that sent in cards and letters, the show of support. Quite frankly, I didn't expect it, and it was overwhelming. And I do want to thank you. I also have something I'd like to say to the outsiders, especially you, Nash. I don't know what you were thinking. What are you, 7 foot tall, 350 pounds? Who are you trying to impress? Because let me tell you something. I hope you impress somebody. You didn't scare anybody. Sting isn't afraid of you. Lex Luger isn't afraid of you. And I know the Macho Man Randy Savage isn't afraid of you. And I got something else I want to tell you. We're all going to be there on July 7th, this Sunday. And I can't tell you how much I look forward to it. Just remember, you didn't scare anybody. And now, Brain, we got a lot of action coming up. We've got a...
Yeah, I know a friend of mine in Pittsburgh remembers that moment. It's the night after, night before Bash in the Beach. Then, let's see what else. What else? Some pop culture. for June from June the 1st, 2016. The Legend of Tarzan. This day 10 years ago, The Legend of Tarzan released in theaters, starring Alexander Skarsgård, Samuel Jackson, Margot Robbie, Adrian Hansen, Jim Broadbent, Christoph Waltz was released in theaters. The BFG was released in theaters. Fantasy anime movie based on a children's book, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Mike Rollins, Ruby Barnhill, Penelope Wilton, Jermaine Clement, Rebecca Hall, Ray Spally, and Bill Hader. It's really it was a flop. And the Purge election year one, third installment of the Purge films, starring Frank Grillo, Elizabeth Mitchell, and Kelty Wilson was released in theaters. And the Murderers, starring Bruce Willis, Christopher Maloney, and Dave Bautista, was released in theaters, and Adrian Grenier from Entourage released in theaters. And that's it. That'll do it for my review for tonight. Everything. Now, it's a late change shot. I'll do it for my show. It's late change shots. I let Joseph check and let dance. I learn dance like James Brown. I like to get in the hot tub. Gonna be sweat. Gonna be dry. Gonna be wet. Referring to Eddie Murphy, the impression of James Brown Saturday Night Live. Back in the 80s, I never grew up in the 80s. Grew up in the 90s. But I saw reruns also Saturday Night back in the 80s when I was little. Back in the 90s when I was little on Comedy Central. So I hope I have a good night. I got something to close out for show for you tonight. For those of you who know that today is a happy 70th birthday to Alan Ruck, I'm gonna close out something for all of you with some his from his role as Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is Cameron from his some highlights from his legendary role in honor of his 70th birthday today. So hope I have a good night. Here it is, close out the show. Alan Ruck from his role as Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Here goes. Good night.
Cameron was in Egypt's land. French, but you're an asshole. Asshole. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'll go. Shit. Damn it. Me to participate in your stupid crap if you don't like the way I do it. Come on, move a little.
Cameron, what's gonna happen to you? It's in the garage.
It could get wrecked, stolen, or scratched. Breathed on wrong. A pigeon could shit on it. Who knows?
What are you interested in?
take a stand. Well, I think you should be sorry, for Christ's sake. A family member dies, and you insult me. What the hell is the matter with you anyway?
What are you doing?
I'm so sick of his shit. Can't stand him, and I just got to. Who do you love? Who do you love? Get off the car. Bitch.
Dave, I know it sounds like a...
Cameron, what have you seen today?
Nothing good.
I can't wait to see the look on the bastard's face. You know, as long as I know that everything works for me, there's nothing he can't handle. I can't see anything.
School, parents, future. Ferris can do anything.
Cameron, dear friend, you thought we wouldn't have any fun. Shame on you.
Well, that's pretty impressive, man.
You son of a bitch. Come on. Taunting. Shoot up.
What'd I do?
What'd I do? You killed the car. Whoa. Holy shit. Cameron, it's my fault. I'll take the heat for it. We'll wait for your father to come home, and when he gets here, I'll tell him that I did it. He hates me anyway. No. I'll take it. No, I'll take it. No. No, you don't want this much heat. I want it. If I didn't want it, I wouldn't have let you take the car out this morning. I made you take the car this morning.
I could have stopped you.
It is possible. impossible to stop Mr. Ferris Bueller, you know. No, I want it, I'm gonna take it. That's it. When Morris comes home, he and I'll just have a little chat. It's cool.